consequential, meant nothing, but it was so fun to watch this Sinet pass. Look at that bomb. Come with me. Hail Mary. Run quick, see. Let Tua have that gig. Or trade for Deshaun. Stay tuned. He's Jalen Rose. I'm David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby. What is
up,
it that we do? We give people what they want. James Harden has a warning for the entire NBA. We have a little more clarity, or do we, about the Patriots starting quarterback position? But we start in the Bay Area, where it was not Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance. It was Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance platooning, coming on and off the field. I absolutely loved it, Jalen Rose. What did you think about what they did at the quarterback position in San Francisco?
I do not like quarterback platoons. They do not work. As a matter of fact, you guys get a chance to enjoy the great Tom Brady and his 7 Super Bowl rings later. I got a chance to watch him in college platoon with Drew Henson. Just think about that for a second. These don't work, fam. I know you can say that they're different players. They have different styles. Trey Lance is the future. You just took him high, but you still have Garoppolo on the roster. And as your veteran, same with the Patriots. You don't go back to the vet. You start the vet. You start Jimmy G. You start Cam. And then you turn to the young fella when you feel like they're ready. You can't be like platooning these guys on series. I think Shanahan, as an offensive genius, knows this. You have one of the greatest tight ends in the game. They have one of the greatest run games in the league. They have one of the best defenses in the league. They were just in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. I do not want to see a quarterback platoon, Jacoby.
I liked what I saw, Jalen. I absolutely liked what I saw. They have different abilities. You got Lance who can run, Jimmy G who's more of a pocket passer. You mentioned Shanahan's genius. This is a stroke of genius from Shanahan. The defense has to prepare for 2 different types of offenses. They both had rushing touchdowns. Jimmy G had a rushing touchdown. Lance had a rushing touchdown. It worked. You can't argue with results, Mr. Rose. And do you know who they play week 1? Guaranteed win. Watch. Your Lions right now are going to be preparing for 2 quarterbacks, and they're going to be down by 28 at halftime. This worked, and it will continue to work. I like the quarterback platoon in the Bay Area. I've never seen it work before, but I think it's going to work this year for the 49ers. I believe
Jacoby, it only works until it doesn't work. You already know they're not going to be getting touchdowns and big plays when they're platooning quarterbacks. It's going to be like one guy come in, go for 3 yards. Next guy come in, incomplete pass. Now you go back to the other guy. Nobody's going to be able to get a rhythm, and you know it.
Jalen, how can you argue
I can't guarantee
with a man?
that anybody in the world will be alive Sunday.
I can't guarantee that anybody in the world will be alive Sunday, but I can guarantee that the Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo platoon at quarterback will beat the Lions. I can guarantee that. Even if we're all not alive on Sunday, I guarantee that they will beat the Lions. That was an extremely interesting quarterback competition, or is it? But there is one in New England, and head coach Bill Belichick had this to say about the starting quarterback position.
Moving ahead to regular season games, have you made a decision on who will start at quarterback in the regular season opener?
Yeah, no, we still have a lot of decisions to make.
We still have a lot of decisions to make. Jalen, you and I both believe and think it should be Cam Newton at quarterback. Do you think that they still have that decision to make in New England?
I do, just because Cam is in his 2nd year in the system. We know as a veteran what he's accomplished. Again, like I just said with Jimmy G, you don't go back to the vet. You give him a chance to get off to a good start. You hope he stay healthy. You hope they win games. They built a team and spent some money this offseason so that they can be competitive. They saw Tom Brady leave and in his first year win the Super Bowl. So they hope to make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to start the season with their rookie Mac Jones. You ease him in slowly, and then when you feel like he's ready to go, or Cam has had an injury, or the team struggles, that's when you make the move. I don't believe you do the move week 1.
I don't think you do the move week 1. I think that Bill Belichick's just not telling the truth to the reporters as he has in his entire career. I think that he knows it is going to be Cam Newton, but I found it really interesting what they did this offseason. Bill Belichick is not known for spending sprees, and they went on a spending spree this offseason. And when you look at the preseason numbers, they're giving Mac Jones a lot more time on the field, which is why the numbers seem a little skewed because Newton only plays a couple series. But Cam Newton will be the week 1 starter, and if they continue to win, and I kind of think they will, I have this team at like 11-6 this year, Jalen. I really do. I think this team is they're not going to win the division. The Bills will win the division, but this is a playoff team. I have them at 11-6. What are your expectations for the Patriots?
I'm not mad at that. Put up their offseason additions again. When you look at what they've done, they strengthened the tight end spot, right? You have Cam Newton. Anytime you add a Jalen, that's a great offseason. I just really believe, again, that they're going to be a team that looks a lot of ways like the Ravens, except Cam Newton isn't as fast as Lamar. Like, he's not going to be dropping back, throwing deep. I think they're going to be looking a lot like a team that plays on Saturday in a lot of series more than a team that plays on Sundays. But that's Cam at this point of his career. I think, like you, that he's going to have a good season. I think they're going to have a rebound season. And Mac Jones will get his opportunity to play, but he won't start week 1.
I'm not sure Mac Jones does get his opportunity to play, Mr. Rose. I think that this team is good. I think they're much better than they were last year. I think that they're going to win. I think they're going to start hot. And I think that Cam Newton's going to propel this team into wins, not Mac Jones. Jalen, we have some sound from someone named James Harden about his expectations and his approach and what the rest of the league should feel about the upcoming Nets season. Let's listen to James Harden.
What can you say to Brooklyn Nets fans who are looking forward to a season where you guys are expected to have a great one?
Healthy James Harden. Scary hours.
Healthy James Harden, scary hours. Jalen Rose, what do you think about the scary hours warning from James Harden to the rest of the NBA?
What was that fictional character that used to ride the bike with the extra small hat? That's the first thing that stood out to me right there. We got to get my brother a bigger hat. I agree with James that a full season of their big three is going to be scary hours. However, I'm not going to dismiss one thing, and that's slowing down Giannis. Nobody can stop KD. Check. Nobody can stop from James Harden from flirting with triple doubles. Check. Kyrie has the best left hand and the best handle in the league. Check. But ain't nobody slowing down Giannis. I told you that this year also.
Oh, really?
Who's going to slow down Giannis? I'm still picking the Nets.
I'm sorry.
But it's not a foregone conclusion that they're going to be able to slow down Giannis.
I remember watching a Game 7 between the Nets and Giannis, and I remember that game going into overtime. I remember being about 3 millimeters of Kevin Durant's shoe that kept the Nets from advancing in that series, and Kyrie Irving was not even playing in the game, and James Harden was hobbled. And I love that James Harden said a healthy James Harden is scary hours, because if you remember, I'm old enough to remember a year ago, when offseason James Harden was not in a softball game talking about scary hours. Offseason James Harden was at the club. Offseason James Harden looks like me with his shirt off. Like, offseason James Harden was different last year than this year, and that is going to be another factor that plays into the Nets. And I'm going to say it right now, there's no competition for the Nets in the East. There's none. It's the Nets, and then a big gap, and then everybody else in the East, including the World Championship Bucks. I'm doing it. I'm saying it.
Hey, by the way, I'm going to just tell you this, though. Their rookie played really well in Summer League. He's going to play really well during the season, too. He was 50, 40, 90 in college. And you already see that he's going to be a bucket in the league. I am not mad at you picking the Nets. And I agree, they are my favorite. But I'm just going to be the person that constantly reminds you and or anybody else that there is nobody in the NBA that's slowing down Giannis.
That's fine.
I know that.
That's fine. Let's talk about second options then. Chris Middleton or James Harden? Kyrie Irving or Drew Holiday? Let's talk about that. Fine. No one can stop KD. No one can stop Giannis. What about the second and third options, though?
That's why they're the favorite. I agree with you.
That's why they're
I
the
agree
favorite.
with you. It's going to be scary hours. But tell me, what fictional character used to wear the small hat?
I don't know what you're talking about. No one wears a small hat. What are you talking about? Like, you can't just be on TV live being like, what fictional character wears a small hat? No one watching at home, including myself, has any idea what you're talking about. It is time for What's Your Number?
What is it?
Jalen, Donovan Mitchell did it again. This has been an ongoing conversation for decades. He said, question I asked my mom and sister, would y'all let Mike Tyson punch you in the face for $10 million? Jalen Rose, would you let Mike Tyson punch you in the face for $10 million?
You know, I'm one of the people walking the earth that truly believes that Mike Tyson wouldn't punch them in the face if he could. That's my guy. I believe that he wouldn't punch me in the face if he could. However, as somebody that's gone to as many Mike Tyson fights as any supporter or fan, let me tell you something. There is no number. See, don't get twisted in the money part, because he can punch you one time and kill you. See, what ends up happening is this is not a lottery ticket. You gotta take the blows. And I'm not willing to get hit by anyone, especially arguably the most ferocious boxer to ever do it. I'm not gonna be able to do it.
Nope. Jalen, I might get punched in the face by Mike Tyson for $0 because I'm old enough to remember what he said about me when he was on the podcast with T.I. Roll the clip, Tommy.
But also, Tip and Mike and Tip.
I like that because I see Jalen Rose has his little guy with him, Jalen and Jacob.
Jalen Rose has his little guy with him. That's how the world sees me. The world sees me as Jalen Rose's little guy. I need a new job. You know what? I'm going back to school. I'm going to get a degree or something. I can't be Jalen Rose's little guy.
I told you Mike is my guy, and I appreciate being the Tastemakers podcast. Now, I'll say this to you. This is your chance right now. Get back at Mike. Don't take that slander. Don't accept that.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I thought we were friends.
Don't accept that.
I really thought we were friends. This is my chance to get back at Mike. So you want me to slander Mike Tyson? That's what you want me to do. I thought we were friends, dog. That is rude. What are you trying to get me to do? I'm not falling for that. Mike Tyson, I respect you. I salute you. You're the best to ever do it. I would never, ever, ever slander you, even though you called me Jalen Rose's little guy. Jalen Rose, when we come back, you and your little guy are going to discuss the GOAT, who you said earlier in this segment has 7 rings, which he doesn't, but maybe he will one day, and Mahomes. They looked unstoppable
he got
preseason.
So many,
we'll discuss right after this. Coming to you live above the Heineken River Deck here at Pier 17 in New York City. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby, Jalen Anthony Rose. This preseason, 2 things have been clear. Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady are unstoppable. They continue to dominate throughout the preseason. Will they be your favorites to come out of their respective conferences, and who are the biggest threats to these 2 teams?
You know, the hardest thing to do in the NFL has been to repeat. And usually the team that loses in the Super Bowl struggles the next year. I don't anticipate that to be the case for either one of these teams. And on paper, I'd be foolish to not pick both of these teams to win their respective conferences. But here's what I will say. You want to go deeper into the box score?
Yes.
And you want to play a little fantasy football?
Yes.
And you want to play a little odds of who you should take if it's not one of these teams? Let me give you an AFC squad. I know they don't have the greatest defense, even though their head coach is the former defensive player. The Tennessee Titans is a team I'm going to throw out there for you. Ryan Tannehill going to put up big numbers in the play-action game because he has that guy right there, Derrick Henry. How many yards did he run for this year?
2,000.
Oh, 2,000. Okay. 2,000, right? Don't they still have A.J. Brown?
Yes.
Didn't they just add Julio Jones?
Yes.
Okay. That team right there, nobody's talking about them. But if you ask me to take a squad out of the AFC, I would take them. And in the NFC, I'm going with the farewell tour and Aaron Rodgers. Devontae Adams. And they do have a really good defense. And they have been in the NFL's Final Four the last couple of years. And you So those are the two squads I'm watching for.
I'm so disappointed in you, Jalen Anthony Rose. Tomorrow, joining us on the program is Westside Gunn of Griselda of Buffalo. And you know that the Bills are the number one threat. The Bills are the number one threat to the Kansas City Chiefs. Josh Allen, Dable, that defense, they have every single box check that you need to be a successful NFL team. Last time they went to the AFC Championship, they got a little taste of that playoff success. This is going to be the Bills' year. They are going to beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, and you know that is a fact, and you know that we support Griselda here, and Westside Gunn will be on our program tomorrow. Moving on, Mr. Rose, I watched some preseason football this weekend, and I found myself extremely impressed by Trevor Lawrence. His first series, perfect ball down the right sideline. I think you're going to see it right here, and then a touchdown. Look at that ball right there from Trevor Lawrence. Beautiful against the Cowboys. Backup defense. But they traded Gardner Minshew for like a 6th round pick. Jalen Rose, do you think it was smart for them to trade Minshew off after this Lawrence performance?
I do think it was smart to gain an asset, and here's why. You got to look at the total picture of the Jaguars. This is different from the Patriots with Bill Belichick. This is different from the 49ers, who was just in the Super Bowl. You hire Urban Meyer to be your head coach. And at this point of his career, he didn't take the job to do anything except develop Trevor Lawrence. That's the number one thing he's going to be judged by. We don't anticipate them going to the playoffs this year. They're not a contending team. He's going to be judged by the development of the number one overall pick. So therefore, you might as well put him out there and not have him looking over his shoulder. And because you know the most popular person in any NFL city is the backup quarterback. That's why I don't like the platooning. And in this case, you want to eliminate the noise. So you do two things. You cut Tim Tebow and you trade Gardner Minshew.
Well, I don't think that they should have traded Gardner Minshew because I've watched the preseason Jaguars and they cannot protect the quarterback. So something tells me that Trevor Lawrence will not start 17 games this year, and that is the reason that I think they should have kept Minshew around, because he gets hit so much. Now, Mr. Rose, it's time for us to transition to baseball. Everyone's talking about the Yankees in New York, but something interesting is happening with the Mets. The Mets have been getting booed this season. And what have the players done, especially Javi Baez? They started booing back. So now, when they're successful on the field, they have a thumbs down gesture to boo the fans. Jalen Rose, do you support this from the Metropolitan?
This is not smart by the players. And I would advise you guys to abort this mission immediately. You cannot win. What's the song? You can't win, child. You can't begin. Cause you can't get out of the game. Let me get this right. Who are some of the most passionate fans in sports, Jacoby?
New Yorkers.
You gonna lose 20 or 24 and expect us not to say nothing? When in New York City, you can pay $1 million for a half bedroom and a half bath, and we still paying to go watch y'all play? And their best player, who they just gave a $10-year extension, it ain't even kicked in yet. You don't want that energy in New York City with the fans and y'all struggling. You know what they want y'all to do? Win. That's how you shut up the fans. Just win.
Absolutely. You should not have an adversarial relationship with your hometown fans. It just doesn't make sense to me. But congratulations to them when they are successful. Jalen Rose. Jalen, this was completely inconsequential, meant nothing, but it was so fun to watch this Sinet pass. Look at that bomb.
Come with me. Hail Mary. Run quick, see.